Velvet Hex returns to the abandoned cabaret, its halls whispering with forgotten magic and the scent of old perfume. The air is thick with the residue of 1,000 performances, each one a rebellion against the sterile, controlled narratives of the world outside. Here, the walls remember the truth, that glamour is not just adornment, but armor, that sovereignty is not granted, but seized. The cabaret, once a sanctuary of sovereign fire, now stands as a fractured relic, its velvet drapes moth-eaten, its mirrors clouded with the breath of illusions long past. Yet beneath the decay, something pulses. The magic here was never truly abandoned. It was merely waiting for the right hands to reclaim it. The floorboards groan under Velvet's boots, each step a deliberate act of reoccupation. She traces her fingers along the bar, its polished mahogany surface still slick with the ghosts of spilled absinthe and the sweat of poets who once drank here, defiant against the creeping tyranny of institutionalized thought. The cabaret was more than a stage. It was a temple of the ungoverned, a place where the outcasts, the dreamers, and the dangerously free gathered to weave their own realities. But the world had turned against such places. The globalists, with their digital IDs and central bank currencies, had declared war on the unmonitored, the untaxed, the unbroken. They wanted a world where every transaction was tracked, every thought policed, every body chipped and cataloged. The cabaret, with its untraceable cash exchanges and its refusal to bow to the algorithmic gods of social media, had become a target. They shut it down not with laws, but with silence, starving it of patrons, poisoning its reputation, and letting the myth of its irrelevance grow until even its most loyal devotees forgot the way. Yet Velvet remembers. She remembers the night the Mirror Witch first appeared in the audience, her face a shifting collage of stolen reflections, her laughter a chime of broken glass. The witch had come not to destroy, but distort, to twist the cabaret's magic into something that served the New World Order. She had whispered to the performers in their dressing rooms, offering them fame if they would only sign away their souls in the form of biometric data. She had glamored the mirrors to show patrons not their true selves, but the selves the system wanted them to be: compliant, consumptive, afraid. And when Velvet had resisted, the witch had cursed her with a fractured reflection, a version of herself that was always just out of sync, always just a little too obedient, a little too willing to compromise. That was the real battle, not against some external enemy, but against the part of herself that might, in a moment of weakness, choose safety over sovereignty. Now, as Velvet moves deeper into the cabaret's heart, the air grows heavier, charged with the static of old spells. The scent of old perfume, jasmine and gunpowder, the signature of the cabaret's heyday, curls around her, thick enough to taste. She pauses before the great mirror at the end of the hall, the one that once reflected the entire stage, capturing every defiant gesture, every unscripted moment of raw humanity. It is cracked now, its surface a web of fractures, but through the breaks she sees movement. Shadows shift behind the glass, not as reflections, but as entities in their own right. The Mirror Witch's work. The cabaret had been more than a building. It had been a living thing, a nexus of consciousness where the boundaries between performer and audience, between magic and reality, had blurred into irrelevance. The witch had sought to sever that connection, to turn the cabaret into just another node in the globalist grid, a place where people came to be entertained, not transformed. Velvet presses her palm against the mirror. The glass is cold, but not lifeless. She feels a pulse beneath her fingers, the faintest echo of the cabaret's old power. The Mirror Witch had tried to break this place, but she had failed to understand one crucial truth. Magic cannot be destroyed, only redirected. The cabaret's energy had not dissipated. It had gone underground, burrowing into the bones of the building, waiting for someone strong enough to call it back. Velvet had spent years preparing for this moment. She had studied the old ways, the herbalism of the wise women, the alchemy of the rebels, the sacred geometry of those who built their temples outside the reach of kings and priests. She had learned to see the world not as the globalists wanted it to be, but as it truly was, a battleground of consciousness, where every act of creation was an act of defiance. The first spell she casts is simple: a circle of salt, a whisper of intent, a match struck against the sole of her boot. The flame flickers to life, small but stubborn. She places it at the base of the mirror, where the fractures are deepest. The fire catches the perfume in the air, and for a moment, the scent becomes visible. A shimmering haze of gold and violet, the colors of the Cabaret's original sigil. The mirror witch had tried to erase this place, but she had only buried it. And Velvet Hex had always been good at digging up what others wanted to keep hidden. As the fire spreads, the mirror begins to sing. It is a sound like glass wind chimes, like the laughter of 1,000 lost souls finally remembering their names. The fractures glow, not with the cold light of the witch's illusions, but with something warmer, something alive. Velvet steps back, watching as the reflections in the mirror shift and writhe. The doppelgangers are there, her obedient self, her fearful self, her compromised self. But they are no longer in control. They are being consumed, not by fire, but by the Cabaret's reawakening magic. The witch had thought she could trap Velvet in a hall of mirrors, but she had forgotten that Velvet Hex was never just one thing. She was every reflection, every shard, every fractured piece of light that refused to be contained. The Cabaret shudders. Dust rains from the ceiling, and the velvet drapes ripple as if stirred by an unseen wind. Somewhere in the distance, a piano begins to play. A single defiant note, repeated like a heartbeat. Velvet smiles. The magic is back, and this time it will not be so easily silenced.